Because the always not at work, so listen.
Ready, you guys can start.
Yeah.
So hi everybody, my name is Dina. This morning the lady at the front desk said, I know you. You train me and you ride a motorbike. No, that's my sister Tracy. I can think really like, yeah. So, if you think you know me, I don't ride a motorbike. That's Tracy. Okay. So, yeah, I'm the evil twin. So we're going to talk a little bit about, yeah, and I don't do crazy things. And tattoos, yeah, right. So we're going to talk about a little bit about Microsoft Teams. What was quite interesting, some of you were in one of the previous sessions with Heather as well, so I'm glad I attended that session, just to find out what types of questions are that we're asking. So I applied a bit of change on my session so that we can focus a little bit more on going through the demo in Teams, because a lot of us haven't even seen Teams. And we're just going to look at the high-level features and how can we utilize Teams from a business perspective, especially when it comes to managing projects. So, there we go. Tracy then went through all of the sponsors, and yes, it's absolutely great. Without sponsors, we wouldn't be able to do sessions like this. Ubuntu, yes, do notice, please, that we're like only 2 minutes, the rest of blonde. I don't know where that came in. In the event. So I added this slide a bit earlier. Because even though we're here today to speak about Office 365, we're talking about Azure, we're talking about SharePoint, we've got some technical sessions, we've got some non-technical sessions. This all boils down to getting end users to adopt this new technology, right or wrong. And look, when it comes to adopting new technology, I'm a master, because I'm usually the oldest person in the room. So I'm definitely the master when it comes to adopting new technology. But we do focus so much on the business transformation, the culture, how we're going to do this, the change management plans, etc. We don't realize that the employees also have to go through wider transformation, and we spoke about that now. But getting messages and you're like, this is a new solution, new software, new approach to how we're doing business, but from an employee perspective, I feel completely lost, right or wrong. So, digital transformation, which definitely is where we're going in the world, is not just the business transformation component, which is where the technology lies. A very key component is the employee transformation. And strangely, I didn't see one session today on soft skills. If we talk about digital transformation, what's one of the key things that we have problems with? We've got 5 generations in general in the line of business at the moment. And I've given some of the youngsters. But due to the whole digital approach of how the youngsters communicate, etc., we're actually losing out on that people skills and communication skills. And you think putting in new technology without focusing on employees is great, but what about the soft skills? So together with digital transformation, key soft skills as well. So do not throw that away from a business approach. Because
A lot of bitching is never good.
Business transformation, without the focus on the employee and without focusing on key things like soft skills, are not going to get us anywhere at all. Okay. Another thing is, if we think of digital transformation, Office 365, Azure, SharePoint Online, all of these new tools, all of that looks like work, doesn't it? In Afrikaans we call it werkwoorde. Doesn't that all look like work? So am I right in saying that without effort we're not going to digitally transform? Effort from business. First of all, we spoke about that earlier, effort from business if you do not, first of all, focus on executive sponsorship, you're not going to get anything done here at the bottom. Executives have to eat their own dog food because that's what we do sitting at the bottom. We want to look up and say, they're buying into this. They're communicating in teams. They're going this approach. Okay, if they're going this, then yes, we can follow this. If I tell me to go over onto Microsoft Teams, you're still sending me emails with 25 meg documents attached because you're not eating your own dog food, are you? So definitely some effort involved, but it has to be a balance of employee, it has to be a balance employee, business, combination, executive sponsorship to get to this overall win.
Before you move on, I think that one of the other things that also it takes a lot of thought in how you do it is, when you were saying it just now, when one moves over to a new system, very often there are old systems that are no longer necessary because we don't do work like that anymore, or we only do work like that because it used to be paper-based. And that rethinking, getting the audience to rethink the way they do their work, why they do their work, how they do their work, at the same time also engenders a lot of engagement.
Absolutely. Putting an old process onto a new system will not work. Digital transformation is not just about, bam, we're going on to Office 365.
Yeah.
What is digital transformation about? Don't you like my...
Yeah!
You guys know that they're looking at, like, I think 60 new features in Microsoft Office in the past 12 months. Do any of you know about that? So from a business perspective, we're so focused on getting our employees trained on Office 365 and Teams and everything, but we're not getting them excited with the new tools and the tool that they're used to. Because if you get someone excited, first of all, in the tool that they're used to, Excel, PowerPoint, then digital transformation doesn't become a pain. Then they start looking at, how can this add value in my life? So all the training I do, I don't care what the outline is, I always show people 2 or 3 new features in Microsoft Office. And then I'm also quite sneaky, so if I'm training someone in marketing, I look at the PowerPoint stuff. If I'm training someone in finance, then I look at the Excel stuff. So I'm always quite sneaky to show them exactly that which will have an impact in their life. They say you must be an influencer, not an enforcer when it comes to new solutions. So digital transformation, empowering our employees, training, looking at change management, definitely. Engaging our customers from a team's perspective, the ability to work, collaborate, co-author, all of that. From a team's perspective, now we've got the option of doing it with guests. But what did we say about processes? It doesn't help you going onto a new solution if you're not looking at how it's going to start better using this software, this solution to optimize business. It's plinging me. And it's only when we get to a point where we start optimizing our process and our operations that we're actually transforming our business, that we stay relevant. And if I say we stay relevant, it's not just our businesses, it's us as well. Unfortunately, in South Africa, we've got so many companies that are going under, that are retrenching, that are restructuring. So transforming our business, profitability is going to ensure jobs for us as well. Buying into the new technology is going to ensure jobs for us as well. Okay, so let's now, if there's any questions, by all means. Questions? No. So we said we're going to look at teams specifically from an agile project management perspective. And it's not just for agile project management, it's from a team's perspective, working together with our, because we've moved away from departmental, different locations, different regions, different countries, going on to different countries, etc. So the whole team's concept is not just from a project management perspective. It's just due to the pace at which things move today, agile project management has actually become a key feature in business. You don't have time for these long-winded, you know, if you do a proper business analysis, okay, with regards to adding and implementing a new solution, looking like 25, 26, probably 30 documents that you have to create and everything. So it gets to a long-winded, and the whole thing, you're just like extending the fact where you're going to get to the point where you start actually delivering. That's why Agile is actually a key new feature from a digital perspective, from a new software application perspective, rolling that out, etc. So we're going to look at how do we utilize Microsoft Teams to manage projects. If we look at the key features with regards to Agile, increased flexibility, sure Teams gives me that. Increased productivity, Teams gives me that. Transparency, absolutely. There is nothing as frustrating as saying something in the boardroom and someone's like, but there was a mail that went out. Oh, we didn't mail you. It's like having to redo things because there's not proper transparency in business when it comes to key areas that we're discussing. Higher quality deliverables, Teams definitely. Decreased risk of missed objectives. We're going to look at the demo now, we're going to look at that specifically. I hate redoing things. I hate doing things because that's how it's always been done. I am a bit OCD when it comes to the 5 whys. I drive my kids up the wall because everything is a why in my life. If you can't tell me the why, what is the end objective of what it is that you want to accomplish, then I'm just not doing it. So then they have to go back and they have to figure out the 5 whys and then come back to me with the answer. So definitely, risk of missed objectives, and then increased stakeholder engagement. Because why? We all want to feel part of the process. We all want to be knowledgeable. We all want to be informed. Because that's how we increase stakeholder engagement and overall satisfaction. And now I have to go back to Tracy. What did Tracy say about happy employees? Isn't that where satisfaction comes in? Okay, no, but yeah. All looks good. So from an Agile perspective, definitely, Teams the way to go. So let's jump to our Teams. I have my driving partner that just ran out, but that's fine. We'll quickly talk about Teams. So just a high level. For anyone that knows this, please remember, we don't all know exactly the same things. So if we look here on the left-hand side, that's a me. That's my activities, my direct chats, my Teams, my meetings, and my calls. So you were asking about the icons. So that's a me. I don't like using long-winded words, so that, you see how my hand is shaking. So you see that, that's an ellipse. That to me is like M&Ms, you know, sweets. It's like many and more. I remember them many and more M&Ms. Because who would try and remember the word ellipsis? But okay, I have to stick to the name brand. They M&Ms. M&Ms are good.
We call them meatballs.
Meatballs. Yeah, but you're like eating that. So on the left-hand side, key focus is mine. What I can do on the left-hand side, from a chat perspective, I can do in a team. So I'm just going to show it once, and we're not going to go to both. And from a managing everything that happens in my team, you go to activities, and everything that you do within your Microsoft Teams, it just compiles everything. So you don't need to go to every team to go and see communications taking place, etc. So focus, me, on the left-hand side. From a chat perspective, I'm going to show you inside the team, so I'm not going to go into the chat at the moment. From a Teams perspective, well, they've retired people. From a Teams perspective as well, yeah, it'll show all the teams that I'm part of. But for instance, for this training, for this session, and when I do training as well, I don't want people to see all of my teams. So I can mark them as favorites. Go there. So I can mark them as favorites or remove them as favorites. It's just so that, because we get to a point where you've got like 20,000 teams here on the left-hand side. So then you can define who do I work with more frequently, and you can mark them as favorites so that you don't continuously have to see all of them. From a team's perspective, that's my team level. And teams have channels. So if we think from a project perspective, channels are like classifications. I'm a color coder. No, I can't do coding, I color code everything. I don't do well. So from a, no wonder people think I'm crazy. So from a project perspective, you can add additional channels there, and it's just so that you can add additional classifications. So the example I usually use from a business perspective is if I had a team, a finance team, and I wanted to create channels for accounts receivable and accounts payable. So I'm a cost accountant, I know accounts receivable and accounts payable can't see each other's stuff, I'm just using it as an example. You understand what I'm saying? So keeping the conversations, the content together, but please remember permissions are on a team level. So everybody in the team can see everything that happens in the channels at the moment. So there is a request to split permissions at a channel level. But at the moment, your permissions are there. So don't say something here in a team, and because you're in the channel, you think nobody else is going to see it. Whatever you say in the team, everybody knows.
Do you know where I get lost is, okay, so that me is very clear. I'll now remember.
Yeah, you remembered it.
But I very often get a notification that someone has updated something in a team. I can't see where to go to see where they've updated it. So is that me my experience?
That's your
me I do.
Your me is your experience. So from an activities perspective, you must see everything that happens in all of your teams in your activities.
But I go in there and I can't find the updates.
Is it that you've been at mentions? We're going to look at mentions now,
Yeah,
or is it just not within the team?
In our team, we run best practice articles. So if you find something around your client, like something scandalous around your client or a best practice or whatever it is, it's uploaded in that team. So it's not part of that specific project. It's uploaded in that team. And I can see it's there. No matter what I push, I can't see the update. Do you think it's a setup problem?
Could be. We can look at that just now. Okay. So from a team's perspective as well.
You look at the conversations, it's still not there.
No, it's not like news either.
Yeah, I think it's
Setup problem. I have a suspected research. You know what happens when you look at the techies? They're all their eyes.
So from a team's perspective as well, guys, high level, we've got all of these nice little images that we can add in. So now some people are saying, especially the older white males, I'm married to one. So some people are saying, oh, but that doesn't belong in. But isn't that what we do from a team's perspective? I come past your table and I know you're having a rough time, so I put a chocolate on your table or I put a flower on your table. Isn't that all? At the moment we're doing it in WhatsApp, aren't we? And that drives me up the walls. Because the ding the whole time. I have a WhatsApp group for my family and I have a WhatsApp group for my in-laws. So I read the ones for my family, I don't read the ones for my in-laws. So I have muted them. So from a chat perspective, we've got all of these nice little gifts and stickers and everything that we can add in, and that's just to add that people component, that human component that Heather was speaking about earlier, because that's how our team dynamics work. It's not just business, bullet points, blah, 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 blah. But I'm very structured. That's why I don't do crazy things. So, from a team's perspective, I've also got all of these nice rich features so that I can structure my conversations. So in a team, I've got all of these, I can highlight them and I can put bullet points in, and so I've still got that ability to keep my communications business-like. So does WhatsApp give me that? No. So that's first one for teams, no? Second one for teams, anything I say inside the team, anybody in the team can see. Because what did we say? Transparency. But, like WhatsApp plings me, Teams will not. Which means that if I go into my Teams 2 or 3 times a day, and I put emails in there that I just live in there, but 2 or 3 times a day, go to Teams and go and see what has happened from a Teams perspective today. But it's not breaking my focus from what I'm actually busy with due to either, like on WhatsApp, pinging me, or on emails, continuously getting emails. Because listen here guys, I'm so sorry, but people just don't understand the concept of sending a to email and sending a CC email, do they? I open up 10 emails a day and it's like, okay, but I don't need to do anything.
Straight to the next person that applies to all.
And reply to all. So I can add one.
Thank you.
So I can add one conversation in. Everybody in the team, transparency, can see what's going on, but I'm not being bothered by, and then the reply all. So at the end of the day, and that's why people wonder, why do they have 500 emails, 1,000 emails, 2,000 emails that they can get through the emails? If you go and sort them by subject, there's usually like 50 on the same subject. So this is how we get focused communication without bothering us using our focused time. Do you guys use the focused time to feature in Outlook?
Yeah.
It's what, isn't it? Yeah. But I'm with OCD, I said it again. So from a team's perspective as well, unfortunately, as I said, my co-driver is not here.
So if I can just add something to what you
Yeah.
said earlier. I think also need to be mindful of keep agile, to agile in mind. With so many of us, and we're all guilty of it, like it or not, we got secure with our previous way of doing things. And now we're faced constantly with this new change. And it's almost like a little bit scared to lose mastery of, we were masters of our, whatever it was that we did, and we're losing that mastery. We don't get comfortable with being uncomfortable. So I know a lot of people are still using Outlook groups now, and then they're getting overwhelmed by so much email in the group that they stop to look at it because it's bling, 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 exactly. So
The risk of missing an objective due to
and this allows us to see the conversation in a linear, neater,
when you have time.
and when I'm ready to see it, when I'm in that headspace.
Yes.
And I think that's a concept I'm having trouble getting to my users, is to say, stop with the Outlook already. Have a look at this, because you're actually wasting time searching for documents, for God's sake. The amount of time you spend searching for documents, or
Yes.
finding that thread.
Yes.
And if you think you have legal departments, what to say, but it's a legal thing in the email, well, different conversation. But right now we're spending a lot of time with that. But we've got to get over that. We've got to understand the agile. We've got to, I think, maybe come to a point of view. All of us, even if we've been technically on the leading edge of technology all our lives, need to say, look, there's a new agile. We've got to get comfortable with
Yes.
tomorrow. It'll be different.
It's not just agile from a project management perspective, it's a
Exactly.
whole agile
Yes.
from how we work.
It could be 60 new features you mentioned. We could get to work on Monday thinking, saw this thing on Saturday, and already the face looks different. That could happen, and we just got to
I
embrace
assume
that.
that's why Microsoft stopped doing their ebooks now.
They have to. But you know one thing Clash Rocky said? He said it's not information overload, it's failure to filter.
Yes.
And what this allows you to do is it allows you to filter up front.
Absolutely. So when, as I say, I use my focus time, so I pre-plan next day. What do I need to do outside of meetings? And the tools are there, so I can schedule it so that if I'm in my focus times, I don't get emails if it's not from this person. So just go into the apps and go look at the settings. The tools are there to assist us to be more productive. But we don't know about a lot of this, and that's the problem. So from a focus perspective, inside my conversations, if I was to add mention, so it'll only allow me to add mention somebody inside the team. So now we're getting to a point where I spoke about just now, about to and CC. Okay. So if I were to add mention, somebody in the team, the whole team can still see it. But she's going to be the only one that's going to get a pop-up that says, Tina wants you to do this. That's how we start focusing communications. That's how we start moving away from a thread of emails 50 long, because people are not, they're not grasping the two in the CC. So Nastasia, why don't you just add mention when you back so everyone can see what add mention does? So you'll also see, as soon as when it's an add mention, it'll show you in my activities that it's an add mention with the red, and it'll show you on the thread that there's an add mention with regards to this. assist me. Look, you don't need to write it. If you wanted to loan money, don't do it now. Faster. I have to pick on her. So, isn't that awesome?
Sure.
So there I've got my pop-up. Now I'm getting pointed on my own screen. So there I've got my pop-up. You guys saw I got the pop-up, and I can see it's at mentioned. Excepting for that, when I do my communication, I can also mark it as urgent. Let's just do an urgent one. I'm not going to add mention. So from a team's perspective, so this is how you start filtering the amount of communications we're getting. Add mentions, urgents, and then I can also add mention the team. So Tracy usually like assigns make coffee to me and stuff like that. And it will only allow me to add mention my team. So as soon as when I add mention the team, focus communication. So not further on the comms perspective, if from a communication and collaboration perspective, if we were to have either a planned meeting or a meet now. So this is for video call. Stasha, you don't need to accept. So this is if I wanted to do a meet now. Which means that anybody on the team, we're having a meet now, you want to join? Can join if they want to. If they don't want to join or they can't join right now, they don't need to join. So this is let's all quickly get together and chat about something. So it's either an unplanned meeting or it's a planned meeting.
I suppose the other members of the team can play back later.
Can play back later because I can record it. Let's learn.
So that button on meetings on me.
Yeah, on the me, yes. Everyone's going to remember me.
Exactly. So is it because of my settings it doesn't show? Is it because of the licensing issue or because of the settings? What is happening?
Could be due to licensing, so yours isn't showing meetings there?
Yes.
Okay, are you on your own environment, in your own company?
It's an organizational company.
So what happens?
You need to have your mailboxes within Microsoft 365 to see the meetings tab. That allows you to access a calendar and book and schedule meetings.
Yes, because on my Outlook I can access create meetings using my Teams.
Yeah.
But in that button it's just the only one that doesn't show.
Right.
So
As
you're
long
saying
as you
their
have
office.
Outlook there, it should be there. If it isn't, you'll need to get a support ticket open. Yeah.
So another thing, who works with, whoever is on guests, I'm not on the company that I'm working with at the moment, but you can allow guest access. So guest access means, so I have guest access at NetBank, and they've set it up so that as soon as I access Teams on NetBank, I still have to add an additional authentication on my phone before I can get into their Teams site. But when you've got guest access as well, your features are less. As a guest, you can't make calls, you can't do meetings, you can't use the Goobot, etc.
Activity chat and Teams and files.
Activity chat, Teams and files here on the left-hand side. Because why? When I'm a guest, I can drink coffee by you, but I definitely can't go and lie in your bed. So that's the concept of when you're a guest. Yeah. As well as from a guest, if their SharePoint site doesn't allow external access, it won't allow you to co-author on a document, because if I'm a guest I can access their Teams site, but if their SharePoint site isn't opened up for guests, I can't work with a document on the Teams. Guys with me?
Can you still initiate, as the project owner, initiate phone calls with your guests as well?
Yes.
So you can get them in, but
Yes.
they just can't initiate.
They can't initiate. Yes.
They can also schedule meetings with both you as their own.
Well, you can schedule a
Yeah.
meeting with them, okay. Yeah.
So, yeah, we can have coffee together, but they can't make the coffee. Okay. So from a project team perspective as well, or whether it's departmental, if we look at co-authoring, so I just spoke about the difference from guests. So the praises are quite new, which I think is actually quite nice. The fact that in inside a team on your message extensions. This is quite came out last week sometime. Where you can praise, remember that human to human component, where you can praise someone inside a team with regards to doing a good job, etc. So that's actually quite nice.
How did you get there?
On the more menus here at the bottom. Okay. The ellipsis.
Meatballs. I can remember that.
Ah,
Then you can share. Yeah, you can share any of those things into your project.
yes,
So, like for example, we have a launch this afternoon. Look, check the weather.
yes. So these are all extensions that we're going to implement.
So it's PMA season or performance management season, and you have to go and do your reviews. Are you able to extract all your praises out of it?
Just press my face. Sorry, just say that again.
I say so. It is project performance review done. We call it PMS, project performance management system. So are you able to extract a certain set of phrases?
That's a great idea. If you go to user voice, you can go and load it on user voice as a request and have them put it into Teams, because that's an awesome idea. But no, it's not in there at the moment.
Stunning idea. And then you
Good
can pay
idea.
all your workmates to praise you.
Yes! I buy chocolates for everyone that puts praises up for me on my team. Right? Okay. So, one of the key, I think, most awesome things is, so I'm not going to wait, I started opening up the document. So this is a document you saw that I've attached inside my conversation. So first of all, even though end users don't want to hear Teams, OneNote, SharePoint, Planner, everything that I show you now shows you easier ways of doing things. And I didn't tell you a lot of application, because they want to know from a process perspective, how do they do things easier. So to an end user, they don't really realize we're looking at a whole lot of different applications that is actually allowing us to do this. So if we think uploading, so do you want to ask a question?
Yeah, another question. Like we run our email through Mimecast, so we got good governance from that perspective. From a team's perspective, how all the messages and all the conversations going on, how do you ensure good governance on that?
It's all within the team, and if you're the host of that team and you've invited guests in, it's in your environment. Some of the tools available allow you to run discoveries, so you can go over and run a discovery to see what have people been talking about, is there being sensitive information being shared. So it's not like email where we're sending it and copies are going everywhere and we have to scan everything and protect. In that sense, it's all within our environment. I'm inviting those guests into my house, and the conversations we hold there are in my house.
Controlled environment.
Yeah.
That's awesome having you guys here. So one of the key features for me is, if we think back to emails, focused communications, the amount of documents going up and down. The fact that, I have to tell you, I have so much empathy for personal assistants. Because they usually end up having to compile all of this back into one document, don't they? So except for that, they still have to do meeting notes, memos, stuff like that. And they still have to go and follow up whether people are doing the activities that have been assigned to them and get feedback. So a lot of empathy for them. So for me, one of the key features is the fact that I can work online in a team on a document. Most awesome? It saves automatically, first of all.
Where does this document live? Does it live in SharePoint?
SharePoint.
So it lives in SharePoint. So although
Sorry,
we're
but
editing through the team
On
on this
SharePoint. That's why I
document,
said just now,
if
I don't,
somebody else checks.
and it picks up the same rules from an information management perspective as what you've got in your SharePoint. That's why, if it's not, your SharePoint's not open for external access.
Yes.
If you're a guest, you won't be able to open up the document. So the rules with regards to managing the information still sits in SharePoint. So opening up this document, and now I've uploaded it into the team. I haven't mentioned the team. I just said, guys, I've uploaded this document. Have a look at this. See what needs to be updated. So I'm not bothering you with the email with the document, first of all. Second of all, 25 meg documents being sent to 20 different people that is on a team, and they all save it someplace else and rename it, and then they all mail it back, and someone has to sit and compile all of this information, right or wrong?
Yes.
And then someone realizes, oh, I didn't put enough budget in, and then they send you another amendment, and then another amendment, you miss something somewhere. So the end result isn't sometimes what it's supposed to be, and you realize when you don't have money to buy bar ones, you didn't have the full budget in. So one of the key features for me is the fact that we can co-author on a document. So anytime during the day when I know this document has to be completed this afternoon, any of us on the team can access this document online. When I access this document online, I can see who else is online. So if we're 10 people on this team, I can see 3 of us are on this document at the moment. I can also, in this document, while somebody is amending something, so little Miss Green in the corner is busy. Is that a hello? Oh, is that a hello? So while somebody's, so I can continuously see what's happening. I have to tell you my rule, when I'm compiling the document, so in Excel, when I'm still putting the columns in and the rows in, I'm formatting and I'm doing all of that. So I'm still actually compiling the document. I do it in the desktop app. When I get to a point where I want to share the document and I want to get people's feedback and input into this document, I work online. Because have you ever seen if you work together on an Excel document and someone's doing columns and I'm like, I don't know which row, I don't know where to look on the screen anymore. So just try the mindset. So I'm not saying you can't format when you're all working together. I'm saying try and be conscious of the fact that someone else's screen is jumping around while you're trying to do changes on the spot.
So what you're saying, the collaboration is in real time. It's
Yes.
not different versions that
Real time, one document. So same as what you've got in your SharePoint version control,
sorry,
all of that.
As the document owner, can you at the stage kick people off to finalize, or how do you handle that?
So what you can do from a control perspective, perhaps if you were to notify them that we've finished with the updates, from a control perspective, and I'm not too sure about that, if I want to share a document with other team members, but I want stricter control, then I would share it from OneDrive. Because there I've got an expiration date, I can cancel sharing at any time, I can have auditing, so from tighter controls from a timing perspective, I don't know, but I would rather share it in OneDrive than in the document. But in general, if I've uploaded and I've notified the whole team, this is the document and it has to be completed by this time. Do you know if you can kick somebody off the document?
Within a team, it's all about everyone having the same permissions. Owners have a bit more permission around controlling the management of the team. But if it was about the management of accessing a document at a certain stage in its life cycle, you might produce that document in the team, but when it's mature and ready to share with the rest of the organization, you want to have more control over who can edit and access that. It goes out to another site, another document library for that purpose, where there's more restrictions.
Where there's more restrictions. So all those restrictions and rules still stay from a SharePoint perspective. So co-authoring.
Do you know one of the other things I find? You see that when you put Word online?
Yes.
Word online is very buggy on my machine. Word online is very buggy on my machine. I say open in Word and open in normal Word. Is there a reason for that? Is there also a setup problem? Or is it still buggy at the moment?
No, I work on Word online 90% of the time, so I don't
I'm
mind
using
using
Word and Word online.
No. So I would also suggest perhaps getting someone who might just come and look at it here. So another key thing for me is within this specific document, whoever's online at that point, we can have a conversation with regards to what's happening in the document. So doesn't this really filter through to transparency? Working together on one document, we have the ability to add, to chat this document specifically.
Absolutely. I find for me that when I'm kind of in a meeting and doing a working session or whatever, I work in Word Online. When I want to edit, because I want the rich functionality of Word, I drop it into Word. I do find it a teeny tiny buggy, and I also find it that I just want more functionality. You know?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
togetherness,
Yes.
we're online. When
Adding
I'm
content.
banging it out,
Yeah.
I do it.
Working on it, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you still get the saving. You know, you're still getting the saving, obviously, which is
Exactly.
awesome.
Yeah.
Which I love.
I think the idea is that you can open it on any device, be it tablet or
Yeah.
Android
Yes,
or anything.
yes.
So it
Yeah,
opens
once
Word
it doesn't
online
have words, then
because
it's-
there's SharePoint
yeah.
installed and in read-only mode. And also our data centers are overseas. So we're
Yeah.
reliant on going all the way up to the sea to
Yes.
Central US
Yeah.
or Europe.
Oh,
probably.
yeah. That's the thing.
So once our data centers are in South Africa, the latency will be much better as well.
So guys,
So when you open it, maybe just open it locally in the next few months.
but we've got like 5 minutes left to quickly chat about the planner and OneNote. No, that's fine, we can chat or continue afterwards.
Now, if you're online like that now, you can click File and say Open in the desktop.
Yes.
And in the desktop Word, you'll still see as well the positioning, where other team members are editing. You don't lose all this functionality.
All the functionality, yes. But
So the collaboration goes with to the desktop tool as well.
as I said, the desktop component for me is more from a features perspective, and when it's just me working on it. But yeah, I think it's a personal preference as well.
2 seconds.
Oh,
Sorry. Will the comments have the conversation on the side? Will it return those comments to the document, or is it lost once I'm on?
That's
so the chat that we're having here on the side in the document.
that's like having a discussion about an attached email, right? It's your email thread. The comments feature in Word is another thing again that you see in the browser. You can highlight something and say, I really think you should adjust that wording as well. But the benefit is that everyone sees that conversation. They're not hunting somewhere in email to find what was the last thing that was said about that document.
Can you reference previous comments? I think that's what she's asking. Is that where do those comments stay? So if someone wants to go back and look at someone's not online now, they're going to look at it afterwards.
When you open up the document in Teams, you will always have the option to open the conversation thread alongside it.
I'm actually going to talk about this in my session after this. So
Oh, awesome! So
if you
we're
want to know
visiting
more,
you. Yes.
Next.
if you want to know more about it, I'm going to go deep into
So a lot
it.
of rich features from a co-authoring, and not only co-authoring, but ensuring that we're working on the final product, not on multiple versions. And as we said, this lies in this team site collection in SharePoint, so it's still managed by our normal document management, information management that we have. The other feature that I quickly, as also because we're running out of time, the other feature that I quickly want to chat to you about is OneNote. So who works in OneNote? OneNote is absolutely amazing. I do my grocery lists on it. my daughter comes to me, she says, we have to buy this and this and this and that. I said, yeah, I'll go make a list. So she goes out to the car, she gives me a paper. I'm like, I'm going to walk around with a piece of paper. I did digital transformation training. What if someone sees me? I said, put it on OneNote. So I did everything on OneNote.
Donna, you could take a picture of that piece of paper and put it in OneNote.
Yeah.
But I cannot tick off
I know.
the activities, can I?
You know what the funniest thing is? That I have one note and then they go scribble on whiteboard anyway.
So, but that's where OneNote is really. So if we think from a project, from a departmental, from a team's perspective, how many times do we, because I'm a scribbler, I love writing on stuff, okay? How many times do we take notes on the whiteboard, then we finish the meeting, we walk out, and that is lost?
I use Office Lens to put it into OneNote.
Yeah, I love Office Lens
And
as
then
well.
I capture
Yeah.
it later.
But the whole concept of agile, as well as visibility, transparency, so people in the team that can't attend the meeting, I'm not going to go through all the features in OneNote, is specifically, because you have a whiteboard in OneNote, but I love OneNote, you have a whiteboard in Teams if you're having a meeting, but I love OneNote, is the fact that, yeah, we've got all of these additional features, so we can do our whiteboards in OneNote. You don't need a touch screen, stylus, blah, blah, blah. You can do it with your mouse. So taking notes, handwritten notes, OneNote in a meeting. Doing recordings, I prefer doing my recordings for meetings in OneNote. So I'm taking my notes. The rich feature for me from a OneNote perspective is because this is a team OneNote. we're both seeing the same page at the same time. Which means that where she would have made notes in her little notebook and I made notes in my little notebook, which believe me, you never go reference back. She's now making her little notes in her notebook and I'm making my little notes in my notebook, but it's all visible on one page in OneNote and the whole team can see it. Because that's how we get to transparency. From a OneNote perspective as well, so I've got a bazillion notebooks. From a OneNote perspective as well, the fact that OneNote will search, so I've got my OneUltron, my personal OneNote, I've got my OneNote at the good stuff, I've got Teams OneNote, but when I search, it searches across the whole stack. So I can bring my whiteboard in, I can bring my moleskin, what's that you call it, notebook in, I can bring all my notes as well as my team notes in, visibility to everybody. I can do audio, I can record the audio in the OneNote, it records the keystrokes. So while she's typing, it will record at the same spot the voice with where she's typing. So if you want to go and play something back, it will show you who typed where in the conversation on the page. You don't get that in a lot of other applications. So OneNote is key to use from a team's perspective as well as from a personal perspective, because you've got your personal OneNote in your company as well.
Show us how you found it.
Got to. So inside your team, just get back to the, I think I closed the other one. Okay. Go back on that one. So each team, when a team gets created, creates like 10 things in the background. And part of that is a planner and a OneNote for the team. So inside our team, we would now go and we would go and add a tag. Because from a team's perspective, we actually want to get to a point where we start doing nearly everything in Teams. So instead of having to go out of Teams to go to Google, to go out of Teams to go to SAP, or to go out of Teams to go somewhere else, we want to add tabs in our team so that your team can access everything. So that your team can access anything that they work with in the team. So in your team, it's going to open. In your team, you can add the tag for your OneNote and for your planner for that specific team. Okay. As soon as that one's open, we can show you the planner component. As I said, inside Teams, you can add your OneNote and your planner because it gets created for your team. So all of these are teams that I belong to, and they each get their own planner. So I think my idea is that Microsoft started off with Planner as a way of us starting to manage the amount of activities that we have to do. And I think it's just gone because everybody's like, projects. So the amount of new requests for Planner is amazing. So if we think of from a planner perspective, I created a plan, so that generally gets it to do plan, and then you can create new ones. So a bucket is a plan, but it's just like something that keeps everything together. So I've created a task here. If I look at this task, so here I've got the project or the bucket that it belongs to. I've got the status. I just have to ask you, what's the difference between 1 and 99?
98.
They're both in progress, aren't they? So I would love to have percentages in there. Because then all my 1% stuff would just be marked as in progress, and I'd look like a winner, but I'm actually like way behind. So percentages for me is quite important there, and I think from a project management perspective, it's for a lot of other people as well, because those statuses are great, but I think if you start going into in depth, then they're not really allowing for that. Start time, definitely. End time, are normal. Then we've got our description. We can also add it to our card. So here in the front, that's our little card. So you can add as much detail. So we can add items into our checklist. So this is now our little work breakdown structure that says get a cup, boil a kettle, get a teaspoon. The benefit here is the fact that Planner works on our phone. So on your phone with your left thumb, you can go and tick off your activities and update your progress. Transparency for the team. So remember earlier I said, have meetings, and the purpose of meetings is outcomes, activities. Then we walk out of there, and then we've got a personal assistant that has to, have you done that? You remember you have to do that. What about this? This has to be done. We have to do, have an update, and I have to update the memo. So the activity doesn't really belong to you. It belongs to someone else that's chasing you around to do it and to do an update, and there's no visibility from a team perspective with regards to what's happening. This gives you full visibility.
Why don't they become more proactive? In other words, why not have an interface that as you finish something, rather than watching a status grow, when the guy's finished with something, he puts in it in real time, and everybody in the team can see what the progress is.
That's exactly what it does at the moment. But remember, focused communications. So it's not got to bother the whole team that says this task for this project has been completed, which is exactly what we want. We only want notifications on Planner when it's relevant to me. I've got something I need to do, I've got something I haven't done. So that's where the focused communications come in. If I'm not mistaken, they're looking at adding notifications for the task owner as well. But if we have a, I don't know, someone hasn't changed me out, but if we have a project meeting, open up our OneNote, taking our notes, deriving what are our activities, at the same time, in our project meeting, we're creating the tasks. In an hour's time, when we leave from here, our agenda for the next meeting has been done, our planner activities have been created and assigned to everybody. Our notes are online, our document is online, everybody has clear visibility and everything is in the same place. Isn't that how we get to agile? Sorry guys, I know we went very, very fast now. I absolutely love color coding stuff, I told you. So I've also got 6 types of labels I can use. So whether we use it for phases in a project, initiation, you can use these labels for anything. You can rename them and use them for anything. I can also, as I said, on my mobile or on computer, I can mark off a project, like an action item. We had a project at Transnet, all my dudes there in the back, that we had to build this because they're projects. They only got updated on a Friday with stickies against the wall. So every time that someone opened the door, then the project would change. But in any event, but a key feature was adding an attachment when a project has been, an item has been marked as completed. Because otherwise people would mark items as completed, but they aren't actually completed.
Transnet is sitting here also.
Oh, hello Transnet! So, adding an attachment, for instance, if it's something remote, maybe, when the task is completed and that's what you need, or supporting document with regards to the task. Key feature as well as the fact that anybody in the team can at any time go in and add a comment. So, say for instance, our task was making coffee, I could add a comment there that says, couldn't boil a kettle. But everybody in the team has visibility. So if somebody goes in and they say, oh, but this task is overdue, it's not, then I can go in and I can see why is it overdue. So that the task owner can decide, okay, we need to extend this. Full visibility all the time.
Does it show you if your task is on the critical part or not?
No, not at the moment. So as I say, Microsoft started off with Microsoft Planner projects light, I would assume. We've got some pre-built, there's a lot of features at the moment on the feature request. Pre-built reporting, I've only got one task in there, so it's not really showing us. So, pre-built reporting, from a graph perspective, will show me progress. It will also show me according to the different buckets, so the projects. It will also show me according to pre-built-in groups. So people coming from SharePoint that have to build views and grouping and filters and predefined grouping as well as filters, because the higher you go up in the tree, the less they want to see. They want to see something that is late. Where the lower you go, I want to see what I need to do tomorrow. If it's Tracy, she wants to see what was she supposed to do this morning. Everybody laughing knows that they know Tracy. Okay. So from a visibility perspective, the reporting is absolutely great. Utilizing filters, utilizing groups, You can also at any time see how's the workload split up at the moment. So, nice thing for me would be if we get to a point where you can reassign or reassign somebody's task. So say for instance, somebody's off sick and they're going to be off sick for the next 3 weeks. I think it would be an awesome feature if you could go in and say, yes, now, Nastasha, I have to, it's not reassign, what do you call it? Delegate, yeah. So I think that would be a nice feature, probably. No, I haven't. Going to.
I don't vote for it.
Well, you know, oh, I'm going to do that. Okay, awesome. So guys, that was a very quick, and I think I used up a whole hour. Yes?
Last quick question. Do you know whether it would be possible to merge or migrate data from one project or one data to another? Or even one group, one team to another? So if I've got one team called sales, and now we've decided to call them consultants. I was already a group called consultants, so sales will be virtual consultants. I'm going to take all that team and
two requests. The one was the ability to move tasks, projects, or recurring. So I think that is
using a team